各位记者朋友，大家下午好，欢迎出席外交部例。
Good afternoon, welcome to our press conference. Questions, please.
谢谢发言人总台中文国际频道记者提问：香港警方7月。
CCTV. Hong Kong police issued arrest warrants on July the 3rd for 8 anti-China rioters who have fled overseas, including Kevin Yang. The US, the UK, and Australia expressed their concerns and even condemned the decision. What is China's comment? We strongly deplore and firmly oppose individual countries' flagrant slandering against the national security law for Hong Kong and interference in the rule of law in the Hong Kong SAR. Kevin Yang and the others have long been engaging in anti-China activities aimed at destabilizing Hong Kong. After fleeing overseas, they have acted in an even more outrageous way to create trouble and continue to instigate division of the country and subversion of state power, acting as pawns for external anti-China forces in their effort to interfere in Hong Kong affairs. Their abominable moves gravely violate the national security law for Hong Kong, seriously threaten the bottom line of One China Two systems, severely harms the fundamental interests of Hong Kong, and gravely jeopardize China's sovereignty, security, and development interests. Justice will never be late or absent. The Hong Kong police issued arrest warrants for these destabilizing elements in accordance with the national security law and other local laws. There is a just act that meets the aspiration of the people and upholds the rule of law, a necessary act for safeguarding the authority of national security law and protecting the nation's sovereignty and security, and a legitimate act for consolidating the fruits of ending chaos and ensuring lasting stability in Hong Kong. This act is also consistent with international law and customary practice. I would like to reiterate that Hong Kong affairs are purely China's internal affairs and brook no meddling by any external forces. Relevant countries need to respect China's sovereignty and the rule of law in Hong Kong, stop lending support for anti-China elements, destabilizing Hong Kong, stop providing a safe haven for fugitives. China remains firmly resolved in safeguarding the nation's sovereignty, security, and development interests, implementing One China Two systems, and in opposing interference in Hong Kong affairs by any external forces. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者提问：近期中国、韩国民意太平洋沿岸国家受访民众反对核污染水排海。
Lately, in China and the ROK, opinion polls show that people in Pacific Rim countries are opposed to Japan's decision to discharge nuclear contaminated water into the sea. In the ROK, there are protests, and people in the Philippines, New York, and Sydney gathered to protest in front of Japanese diplomatic missions, asking Japan to stop the plan. The Fukushima Fisheries Association voted unanimously to express their opposition, but the Japanese side has said this summer the plan will start as scheduled. Do you have any comment? I note the report the Japanese government's decision has drawn widespread international concern. The Global Times conducted a survey in 11 countries of 11,000 people. Nearly 90% expressed worry, anxiety, and fear. More than 90% support their own countries in taking measures to intervene in the Japanese decision. Regretfully, the Japanese government has been pushing through the ocean discharge plan and doing everything possible to justify its decision. The IAEA will release its report today. I need to point out that the agency conducted its assessment at Japan's invitation. Its mandate is limited to the ocean discharge plan. So the report cannot greenlight Japan's ocean discharge decision. It cannot prove that the decision is the only or the safest or the most reliable option. We urge Japan to be responsible to humanity and our posterity, stop the ocean discharge plan, study other options, deal with the matter in a science-based, safe and transparent way, and subject itself to rigorous international oversight. Next one, please.
环球时报记者提问：近期瑞典再次发生焚。
Global Times. Recently, Sweden witnessed another burning of Quran, which was strongly condemned by the Arab world and the Islamic world. The incident has made international headlines. What's China's comment? China always upholds mutual respect, inclusiveness, and mutual learning between civilizations, firmly opposes extremist acts attacking different religious belief and inciting civilization clash and all forms of Islamophobia. The Islamic civilization has made important contribution to world civilizations. The Muslim faith and religious feelings should be respected. The so-called freedom of speech should not be the excuse for stoking conflicts and antagonism between civilizations. President Xi Jinping proposed a global civilization initiative this March that advocates equality, mutual learning, dialogue, and inclusiveness among civilizations, and replacing estrangement with exchange, clash with mutual learning, superiority with inclusiveness. China will work with the international community to advocate the spirit of the Global Civilization Initiative, promote inter-civilization exchanges and dialogue with concrete actions, and jointly safeguard the world's diversity of civilizations. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。日本广播协会的记者提问。
NHK. The plan of discharging the Fukushima contaminated water into the ocean. I have a follow-up question. If the IAEA issued the report, China will not accept the report. Is that what you mean? China always opposes abiding by the system of governing international relations based on international law and UN Charter. Is that double standard that China is practicing?
机构的报告。
To start with, we haven't seen the IAEA report. What I meant to say is that the Japanese side at the very beginning limited the IAEA's mandate and only allowed the IAEA to assess the ocean discharge plan. So under these circumstances, any IAEA report cannot justify Japan's decision, nor is there any moral or international basis. Secondly, though we haven't seen the report, we hope that it will be one that can stand the test of science and history, and that it won't just endorse the ocean discharge option. Next one, please.
日本共同社质量提问。
Gildo News. The Chinese government yesterday announced export control on gallium and germanium. These metals can be used to make semiconductors. Some say that it is aimed at countering the export control made by the US, Japan, and Netherlands. However, it does not confirm with the long-term stance of the Chinese government of supporting global industrial and supply chain stability. What is your comment?
商务部已经发布了公告。
The Chinese Commerce Ministry has put out a statement on this. You can refer to that. China is committed to protecting the security and stability of international industrial and supply chains. We carry out and enforce justified and non-discriminatory export control measures. The Chinese government enforces export control on relevant items that is common international practice, not targeted at any particular country. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。北京日报记者提问：据报道，洪都拉斯经济发展。
Beijing Daily, the Economic Development Minister of Honduras said that Honduras and China have started free trade agreement negotiation. Can you confirm this? And any comments? What's your expectation? On the morning of July the 4th, Chinese Commerce Minister Wang Wentao and Honduras' Economic Development Minister Salado, in via video conference, jointly announced the official launch of the two countries' free trade agreement negotiation, which is an important consensus reached by the two heads of state during President Castro's visit to China. It shows the two sides' readiness to deepen cooperation. Since the establishment of diplomatic ties, our relations have been growing with a strong momentum, with practical cooperation deepening and expanding. We stand ready to tap into the potential, create more highlights, and work for new progress in our bilateral cooperation. Next one, please.
I have a question from AFP.
法新社提问，我的问题是包括关于香港针对8人发布逮捕令。今天中国驻英大使馆已经发布说明， 这有可能会影响到英国外交部长克莱弗利访华吗？
警方通。
I just shared China's position on the 8 people wanted by the Hong Kong police. As to the other visit you mentioned, I have no information to offer.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
.还有其他问题吗？
Anything else?
Hi, I have two.
法新社还有2个提问。第一，有报道称博雷利有可能会访华，您是否能够证实相关消息？另外，关于耶伦访华的相关细节，中方是否能够介绍？
关于你的第一个问题。
On your first question, I don't have anything. On your second one, regarding the visits by Treasury Secretary Yellen, I noted that my colleague answered a relevant question yesterday. China has released information on the visit. For more specifics, I refer you to the competent authorities. We always believe that China-US trade cooperation is mutually beneficial. We hope the US will take concrete actions to create enabling conditions for the sound growth of bilateral trade ties and for win-win cooperation. Next one, please.
总台 CGTN 记者提问：近期越南、蒙古、
CGTN recently, leaders from countries including Vietnam, Mongolia, and Barbados expressed their support and appreciation for the GSI proposed by President Xi Jinping during their visit to China. They want to be part of it, contributing to global peace and stability. We can feel the enthusiasm from the international community, and we can see the good momentum of delivering on the initiative. Can you share more with us? In April 2022, President Xi Jinping put forward the GSI. Since then, it has received positive response and extensive recognition globally. More and more countries have supported and appreciated the GSI and are looking forward to be part of the efforts of implementing the GSI. Our sides believe that the GSI proposed by President Xi Jinping responds to significant security concerns of the international community and speaks to the aspiration for peace and cooperation shared by all countries, providing the Chinese wisdom and impetus for solving the security challenges facing humanity and improving global security and governance. Particularly, recent diplomatic efforts on the political settlement of the Ukraine crisis and the reconciliation between Saudi Arabia and Iran express China's responsibility as a major country in pressing ahead and taking the initiative to improve global security governance and the important role of the GSI in solving international security challenges. The GSI, as a global public good, serves the interests of people around the world and safeguard peace for the whole world. China stands ready to work with all sides to deepen the implementation of the GSI and bring more benefits for the two people, tackle the increasing security challenges faced by the world, and advance peace and development, as well as making the world more peaceful, secure, and prosperous.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
Hi, I have another question from AFP.
法新社提问：越南，据报道，越南拒绝中国的电影《芭比》上映，主要是因为南海的九段线。中国是否能够证实外国电影在中国上映是否也以地图的相关标识为前提？中方是否针对越南禁止中国电影上映有何评论？地图是否也是中国上映外国电影的一个前提？
的立场是非常明确的。
China's position on the South China Sea issue is consistent and clear. We don't believe that any country should link the South China Sea issue with people-to-people exchange. Next one, please. Another question? If there is nothing else before calling it a day, I have an announcement for tomorrow. Due to schedule reasons, our press conference will begin earlier at 2 p.m. That's all for today. Thank you.